Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365, and we are back with our Friday weather report. Greg Soulje joins us from, I guess, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin,
Yes.
Midwest.
Not, as I mentioned, not, pardon me, far from Lake Michigan, the big pond, the curse of springtime, as we call it around here. Anytime that wind comes off that 45-degree water, everybody else gets spring. We still get late winter around here, and then just a few miles from the Wisconsin line, where we've hit a couple of those summer clubs. Those are nice up that way. Kenosha, Racine. Yes. There is a new one not far from, I can't remember the name, where they do some type of festival, summertime festival. I'll remember. It'll come to me like tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. So in any event,
you can let us know next week.
Yeah, I won't bother anybody at that point. But at least the sun is out around here, and the rains, at least in the Corn Belt, by and large, over with for now. So
yeah, it was a couple of rainy days here, that's for sure. But it sounds like there's more rain in other parts of the country, and just some more weather going on. So let's let you get right into that.
Okay, we'll get into the headlines here, and of course, we'll take a look at things for the weekend, and some semblance of that dry, drought-ridden weather pattern, and not necessarily to start the big hot ridge, but we're seeing the early signs of it, by the way. And we'll talk about it on the TV show this weekend and in our get-togethers here on Feedstuffs 365 next week. The signs are beginning to show up, so that continues to play out. And some folks, at least in the central Corn Belt, might catch a break from the next organized rains. And boy, just a dichotomy and range of crop conditions and plant completion across the Corn Belt. So the problem in some areas is still cool, damp grounds and soils. And when you get daytime temperatures only in the upper 40s and 50s, like in the lower lakes region, 60s and a few low 70s over the rest of the eastern Corn Belt. If you're using base 65 on the growing degree day sign of corn, there ain't nothing there. So that's the problem in some areas. And of course, the wet grounds precluding any large scale field work. And there's new rains breaking out west of the Missouri. Maybe another rough weekend for parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, northern Texas, Arkansas, Missouri in particular, and the far southern Corn Belt. Sound familiar? It's the same setups. Remember, we talk about it. Wet grounds beget a wet weather pattern. Dry grounds beget a drier weather pattern. Got a little folklore, but it actually works in the operational end of meteorology. Anyway, other side of the coin, just like, if you got a dry, drought-ridden weather pattern, you don't get a lot of rain, although they've had a fair amount really across the western and northwestern Corn Belt the past 10 days. You get good completion numbers, 90%. That's 9 and a 0 complete on the corn side of planting things through Iowa and Minnesota. I don't even think we're even halfway there in some of these areas of southern Illinois, southern and eastern Indiana, and Ohio. We'll see what the crop reports have to say for next week on Monday. In any event, back in the plains, there's more showers and thunderstorms out through the Dakotas, Big Sky Country, Nebraska, moving into sections of Kansas. A brief respite on the hail, the high wind, and all that severe stuff on the southern plains for now. And the rains, have benefited those spring grains, the pasture lands across the northern and central plains. There is a ways to go. We'll take a look at the drought monitor here in just a minute, but we're nibbling away at it. And surprisingly, in through a good chunk of Texas, removed from some of the worst drought areas and some of the ag areas, pasture lands, spring grains, that type of thing. In any event, there's still issues, poor and very poor on rangeland and pasture lands. Was almost 50% through Nebraska, 45% through Montana, and 26% through South Dakota and down through Texas. And the thunderstorms, again, are getting to flare up. They were earlier this morning, north and west of Dallas. Have kind of wound down. They're out towards Dalhart and Amarillo at the current time. But new rough weather for some of those overtly wet areas in pasture lands. I'm sure there's standing water, swollen streams and rivers. So heads up on the livestock movement, if you will, of feed supplies in those southern plains. There's more, again, tough weather expected over the weekend. Heat and humidity. The story into a good part of Texas, the Gulf Coast area. My temperature map that I plotted up this morning in daytime readings are expected to be up past 95 in Dallas, 93, 94 Dalhart, and triple-digit readings moving into West Texas cotton country over the course of the weekend. Still excessively wet grounds, this range of soil moisture conditions over the western and southwestern high plains and down towards the Rio Grande. And the western states, pretty quiet weather picture, the low afternoon humidity, worst of the drought in New Mexico. So we'll keep an eye on fire potential on some of these dry-based, more lightning-based thunderstorms that'll get going over the southwest as the day wears on. Some indication that maybe some moisture shaping up in the southwestern states and maybe an early start. Another example how if we get this warm ridge, this ridge over the middle part of the country, the southern Canadian prairie, undercutting that ridge, low-level winds come in off the Gulf and Pacific, and that helps to fuel and start up the rainy season, the monsoon season in the southwest. And typically July 1 thereabouts, but it may be getting going here in the early weeks of June down there. Another indication that we're evolving into a drier, warmer to start weather pattern from northwest to southeast across the middle part of the country. There's the drought monitor. Got it right on the Friday edition here. That's the current one as of Thursday. And surprisingly, with all the rain that's come through, and I think this did take into account rains from early last week, still some dryness and drought-related issues in the parts of northern Illinois, northern Indiana, southwest Michigan. There might be a categorical improvement on next Thursday's drought monitor there. But again, many areas of the Corn Belt in great shape, and we've eradicated the dryness and drought weather pattern. That's why we're behind in planting in those far eastern and southern Corn Belt areas. Improvement through Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, nibbling away across the spring grain areas of the Dakotas, Big Sky Country. And look at Oklahoma and Texas, except for the panhandle area of Oklahoma, in great shape from Galveston, or at least Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth, Dalhart, Amarillo, Lubbock, those particular areas, and still a world of hurt down through the Rio Grande and southwestern sections of the country. Anyway, look at the dryness and drought down south of Orlando and south of the I-4 corridor, the Everglades. Well, they're going to get fires down both where the rainy season gets going and they get some improvement down there. And there are a couple of showers and thunderstorms in parts of Florida's forecast. You can see the organized rains as you go through Friday afternoon west of the Missouri, picking up in coverage to the Dakotas down to about Norfolk outside of Omaha as well. And the showers still wrapped around that low into the northeast of New England, another part of the country that has seen some significant drought improvement. You can see a little splotch of red there through West Texas. That is severe weather in a couple of clusters this afternoon and evening time, where the showers and thunderstorms continue to be scattered across the far western and southwestern Corn Belt and into the Ozarks. Boy, that Ozark area to Oklahoma City, back up east of Wichita, then back into the Ozarks, and maybe to about the Boone Hill, Missouri. 5-6 inches of rain here the next 5 to 7 days. So flooding issues there. And we do catch a break in some of these central Corn Belt areas. There's still rain in the forecast, but the amounts have been trimmed down considerably. So there's a Saturday morning, nice organized rains in the high country of Nebraska. Colorado rains in through western Kansas, and the showers and thunderstorms are soaking and drenching on that warm front, and north of it into Arkansas and Missouri. And one batch moves out, another one gets going, coming in from the west, northwest, kind of teleconnecting with the rains in the Central Plains Saturday afternoon and evening time. Dry, high pressure over much of the Corn Belt, a couple of instability sprinkles downwind of the Great Lakes region, and a couple of showers and thunderstorms scattered across Florida. There's the Sunday perspective. So you can see that it's basically I-70 on the southward. We think that corridor may be more significant, heaviest rain down towards St. Louis. The deeper shade of green will lift with time later Sunday into Monday, but probably no farther north than about I-70. So the southernmost Corn Belt areas, we've got problems still and a lot of the wet grounds and cool grounds, but they catch a break in some of the bigger rainfall numbers over the Midwest, that is. And the beat goes on with probably, by the way, didn't mention this, some patchy frost can't be ruled out in parts of central Minnesota, northern and central Wisconsin. I don't think it'll be anything to impact crop conditions there or growing conditions on anything of the northern end of the Corn Belt at all, but just a sign of the time. So going forward for this Memorial Day holiday weekend, active weather pattern for the plains, far south and southwestern Corn Belt locales, 2 to 6+ inches. It'll be probably fraught with some severe weather and flooding in some of those stronger storms for parts of Oklahoma, southern Missouri, and Arkansas over the course of the weekend. And again, some patchy frost across some of the upper Midwestern, interior, northern sections of the Great Lakes region. There's the next 7 days, and the shades of purple and red are running from about Kansas City to Carbondale, and again spreading into the Mid-Atlantic region, so additional drought relief there. And 2 from Mickey's Place southward into the Everglades and Alligator Alley there through south of Florida. That run that takes you, I think, from Sarasota to Miami, including Fort Myers, and some rainfall there too. Not much going on in the southwest. A little scattered moisture into the northern Rockies. So the same areas that have been hit time and time again, except for a slight southward progression, will get more rain. So you folks, by the way, in the Dakotas and Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming, enjoy this rain while you may. We'll just leave it at that. Next week, there's the upper air pattern. Nothing too, fantastic jumping out at you. A little circulation through the Dakotas and the Lakes region between Tuesday and Thursday next week. A little troughiness over the Great Lakes of the Northeast of New England. There's going to be still some cool air. We're not going to rack up much in the way of significant growth and development, although air temperatures will moderate in the eastern Corn Belt. Really, the sign of warmth and heat is going to be in the Great Basin, the Divide Country, Montana, maybe the high plains of Montana later on into the week, as mentioned, in Wyoming, and a weak circulation offshore of Southern California probably generates what they call the June swoon out there. That's when that low stratusy stuff, and we can see it still in the satellite picture, first around the San Diego area, then it builds into the Bay Area of San Francisco. It takes until the afternoon before it clears off out there, just from prior trips and knowledge. Pretty cool climate out there in California, those coastal areas in particular. And of course, Sacramento Valley, big ag area as well. I think California is the #1 dairy producing state in the country. I think I have that right. Max won't be happy about that, but it is what it is. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's heat in the west. There's high pressure through the upper Midwest, and the last of this weather system, again, kind of curling northward. That's why I think there's still rain in the forecast, 1/2 to 1 inch in some of these central and east central Corn Belt areas, but those bigger 1 to 3 numbers are south of I-70 towards the Ohio River and south of I-64. And high pressure and control, pretty quiet weather picture with rain. There's some pretty healthy rains expected for the Gulf Coast areas, and high pressure otherwise for the middle part of the country over Thursday and into Friday. Next 2 weeks, no big endorsement. Again, we have the detailed outlook. If I look at my note cards here correctly, we'll take you up and to and through almost the first week of June, probably into the first week of June, on the 4-week forecast on this week in agribusiness. So almost the start of meteorological summertime, I should say astronomical summertime. So there's heat in the west. There's still some cool weather in the Corn Belt areas, and temperatures about normal throughout the Midwest. And you don't see that big, warm, hot ridge for now through the early days of June. It's going to be a progression to a drier, warmer, then getting hotter weather pattern from northwest to southeast, what we call compressional warming. So you don't get the big south wind, the big jump on humidity and dew points. It's going to be pretty comfortable, warm to maybe getting hot days, and away from the wet areas of the Corn Belt and the plains. Some cool nights. So you'll get these range, this what we call diurnal range of temperatures of some 30, 35, maybe 40 degrees in a given area through the middle part of the country. So warm days, pleasant nights, get some growing degree day action. Crops can kind of settle down, although we're early in the season from a growth and development standpoint. And again, that's the way it's going to progress. It's not like we're going to throw a switch and it's instant heat wave weather pattern. The rains instantly turn off. The transition month, the segue month, is basically June and the first 3 weeks of June. And you'll see that on the longer range stuff this week in agribusiness. And I think that's the way we laid it out on our last half-hour live stream last week as well. And there's the rainfall forecast, pretty much, on target. I think I have no differences of opinion with this. That's the general trend. We were maybe a little more active on our 4-week forecast, and you'll see that. We're not completely done with the moisture, but a winding down process and taking the foot off the gas process of moisture reduction and an ending of the rains over the middle part of the country. The forecast is wetter in the southwest, and that is a trip off that we're with that ridge to the north and west and building into the Canadian prairie. We're going to try and get the monsoon season going in the southwestern part of the country. Could be more fires to start, and then hopefully some rainfall there, and still a wet weather pattern across Dixie down through Florida as well. So that's it on a Friday before this long Memorial Day holiday weekend. Certainly safety first for everyone out there. Make sure you honor everybody who gives us the chance to have a barbecue this weekend. And we'll hope to see everybody on this weekend's edition of This Week in Agribusiness.
Well said, Greg, and thank you for that update. We appreciate it. And yeah, happy Memorial Day to everyone. And we will see you next Tuesday,
Yeah,
I believe, and then next Friday. But we'll be touching base with you a couple times next week, bringing everybody here an update. So
exactly.
have a good long weekend.
You too.
To you, Greg, and to everyone who's joining us. Thank you.
Be safe.